I stood in the charred tournament hall, my golden robes caked in ash. Secrets hung thick in the air. This was supposed to be a friendly tournament. Now it's a den of conspiracy. Vladimir Morel knelt before me, his scaled hands folded like a supplicant. But I knew better. My fingers trembled as I took the black card. I could feel his eyes probing me. The hall felt like a tomb, closing in on us with every passing second. His scaled facial tattoos glinted in the dim light, a warning I couldn't ignore. The scar on my left knuckle throbbed a reminder of how little control I had here. Then his gaze shifted, locking onto something behind me. My blood ran cold. Sebastian stood in the shadows, his silver rune necklace glinting faintly. He never looked out of place. Until now. I spun around, my heart hammering. Sebastian stood there, unreadable as ever. My forehead prickled with sweat. I knew what was coming next. The hall felt dead, save for the ash drifting like slow snow. Every sound echoed too loud. Vladimir's voice cut through the silence, sharp as a blade. Your special class, it has a silver tongue among you? My throat went dry. I couldn't form words, couldn't think of a lie good enough. Sebastian's rune necklace flared, as if answering the question before I could. I squeezed the black card until my knuckles ached. This was a trap, plain and simple. His clawed fingers tapped the burnt stone. A slow, menacing rhythm. He was waiting for an answer. We were three figures in a graveyard of magic, and I was the one stuck in the middle. My eyes darted between them, searching for an escape that didn't exist. Vladimir smiled, his scaled tattoos glinting. He knew I had no choice but to speak. Then he leaned in, his voice a low growl. Tell me, mage, what's his real name? My mind went blank. I had no answer that wouldn't get us all killed. A beam of sunlight cut through the ash, illuminating the chaos we'd walked into. Sebastian's eyes met mine, cold and unyielding. He didn't need to speak to warn me. We were trapped, with secrets closing in from every side, and I had no idea how to get us out alive. The second Vladimir asked that question, Sebastian froze solid. I knew we were screwed. The charted tournament hall went dead silent. You could hear ash falling from the ceiling. I panicked, shoving myself between them before I even thought. Lies flew from my mouth faster than wind magic. I rambled about ancient tomes and class archives, praying he'd buy the garbage I was spouting. Vladimir's grin faded, but I could tell he didn't believe a single word. We thought we'd escaped, but then a shadow stepped out from the smoke. It was Venet. He held up a vial glowing with holy fire. Same stuff Johan and I had unleashed earlier. My throat went dry. What could he possibly want with us now? He called it a gift for helping his brother. My fingers brushed his scaled knuckles as I took it. When I turned to leave, I spotted Vladimir watching us. His eyes were still locked on Sebastian. That's when I noticed it. A hidden camera in the rafters. We'd been watched this whole time. We sprinted for the university gates, our lungs burning like we'd swallowed fire ourselves. By the time we hit the gates, we could barely stand. Patrice's bandaged hand shook so bad he could barely hold up his robes. Sebastian didn't let us catch our breath. He dragged us into a shadowed alley, his face grim. His silver rune scroll flared to life, and a message burned across the parchment. We weren't safe yet. The Alcyone Empire knew about the prophecy. They were sending assassins for the Golden Child tonight. Johann's fire gauntlets flared to life, holy fire flickering across the metal. We were ready to fight. But before we could plan, a shadow moved at the end of the alley. I could feel dark magic in the air. It was an Imperial spy, his blade glowing with dark magic that made my skin crawl. He sneered, raising his blade. The Golden Child dies tonight, he spat. I threw up my windshield, heart hammering. Johann roared, his gauntlets blazing with holy fire that could melt dark magic like butter. Patrice's hands glowed with healing magic, ready to patch us up the second we got hit. The spy charged, dark magic erupting from his blade. The fight for our lives had officially begun. I stared at the vial in Venet's hand, holy fire glowing like a trapped star. My fingers brushed the cool glass, and I knew this wasn't just a gift. A flicker above caught my eye. Something was wrong with this hall. There, tucked in the rafters, a tiny camera glinted back at us. We weren't just watched, we'd been under surveillance this entire time. The realization hit me like a punch. Every move was tracked. I locked eyes with the team. We all saw the danger. Now, Patrice's knuckles whitened. He knew worse was coming. We didn't waste time. We moved for the exit, feet pounding ash-covered floors. The exit arch loomed ahead, but the air felt thick with dread. Then a sound rumbled through stone, Vladimir's voice, full of fury. We froze mid-step, spinning to face the source of the roar. Vladimir stood at the hall's end, scales glinting, rage warping his face. His roar shook rafters as he snarled a question we couldn't answer. The special class has a Golden Child prophecy. Tell me, who is he? Johann's jaw tightened. He had no clue what Vladimir meant. Sebastian's rune necklace flared, reacting to the forbidden name. The air crackled between us. We were trapped, and he wouldn't back down. Patrice's eyes darted. He looked like he knew a secret we didn't. We had no answers to give. We ran his roar, chasing us to the exit. We ran until our lungs burned, finally reaching the university gates safe, or so we thought. Johann leaned against the wall, fire magic still flickering weakly in his scorched gauntlets. None of us spoke, but we all knew we'd just painted a target on our backs. Sebastian didn't waste time. He herded us into a shadowy alley before we could catch our breath. The alley reeked of rain and rot, and every distant sound made our magic flare on edge. Then Sebastian pulled out that silver scroll. We should have known it meant more trouble. The runes flared to life, casting silver light over our grim, tired faces. My blood ran cold when I read the words, assassins coming for us before dawn. Patrice's hands started trembling. We all knew what this threat meant for us. Johann's fire magic flared to life. He was ready to fight, no matter what came our way. I summoned a windshield, thin and shaky, but it was better than nothing to protect us. Then we heard a soft shuffle from the alley's end. We weren't alone out here. Sebastian's eyes narrowed. He could sense dark magic. We couldn't, lurking in the shadows. He stepped in front of us, ready to face whatever hidden threat waited in the dark. Footsteps echoed closer, heavy, and purposeful. They knew exactly where we were hiding. Johann's fire burned brighter now, casting orange light over our tense, determined faces. We stood together, ragtag and tired, but we weren't going down without a fight. The shadow stepped forward, and we saw it, an Imperial spy, blade glowing with menacing dark magic. I took a deep breath. This was it. The fight we couldn't outrun any longer. The spy charged, dark magic screaming, and we didn't hesitate to meet him head on. We're trapped in this godforsaken alley running from assassins. I thought our dorms could be safe. I suggested we head back to our special class dorms. Their ancient runes should protect us. But Patrice shook his head. Those Imperial assassins can break through any dorm wards. Johann snapped, slamming his fist into the wall. Holy fire flared from his gauntlets. That burst of magic was a beacon. I knew we'd just drawn unwanted attention. Then I felt it, dark magic, cold and sharp. My blood ran cold instantly. An Imperial assassin stepped out, his sword glowing with dark magic. His target was clear, the Golden Child. I summoned my windshield instantly, shoving my friends behind me to block the first strike. Sebastian moved too, his silver rune necklace flaring to life in the dark. This fight wasn't avoidable now. We had to stand our ground, no matter the cost. His eyes held nothing but killing intent. No words, no hesitation, just pure malice. Johann stepped forward, his holy fire blazing brighter. He wasn't going to back down. Patrice tensed up too, his healer's magic glowing faintly in his palm, ready to patch us up. My windshield solidified, a glowing cyan barrier between us and that deadly dark magic sword. The assassin charged, his sword slicing through the air. The clash was inevitable. The sword slammed into my shield, sending a shockwave of clashing magic through the alley. Sebastian pulled out a silver rune scroll, already tracing a spell to turn the tide. Johann unleashed a wave of holy fire, burning through the assassin's dark magic defenses. I stumbled back from the impact, and Patrice was already there to heal my scraped arm. Then more assassins stepped out from the shadows. We were surrounded. This was going to get ugly fast. I gritted my teeth, channeling more wind magic. We couldn't die here, not like this. Sebastian's scroll flared to life, the glow of teleportation magic wrapping around us. We had to escape now. Johann held the line with his fire, buying us time for the teleport spell to charge. Patrice dragged me into the teleport circle, his healer's magic still glowing to keep me conscious. The teleport magic exploded, and as we vanished, I heard the assassin's furious roar. We survived for now. I thought we were safe in the alley until that Imperial spy lunged with a dark magic blade. I threw up my windshield just in time, the magic rippling under his dark strike. Johann didn't hesitate, his gauntlets blazed with holy fire, targeting the cursed sword. The holy fire ate through the dark magic like acid, the spy screaming in agony. I barely noticed my scraped arm until Patrice's healing magic wrapped around me. The spy spat blood, his voice dripping with malice as he stared at us. He didn't beg for mercy, he had a message to deliver for the Emperor. The Emperor knows about the Golden Child, he hissed, and he wants Sebastian dead first. My blood ran cold. Why would the Emperor target Sebastian specifically? Sebastian's rune necklace glowed faintly, like it was reacting to the threat. We all exchanged looks. This was bigger than any of us expected. Before we could press him further, his eyes rolled back. He was dead. Johann stepped back, his holy fire fading. We had a target on our backs now. Patrice looked terrified. He knew what the Emperor's wrath meant for mages like us. I clenched my fists, wind magic tingling at my fingertips. We weren't going to wait to be hunted. Sebastian turned toward the alley exit, his voice cold and sharp. We need to move, now. We fell in behind him, every step quiet, every sense on high alert. The faint light of the street beyond the alley felt like a lifeline, but we knew danger was still close. I glanced back at the spy's body. This was only the beginning of the Emperor's hunt. Johann's gauntlets still glowed faintly, a reminder of the power we held and the target it put on us. Sebastian froze solid when that spy spoke. I couldn't wrap my head around it. Why would the Emperor want him dead? Patrice suddenly gasped, his face pale as ash. He recognized that armor Imperial Guard issue. That assassin wasn't just a spy. He was part of the Emperor's own personal guard. Johann lost it. He slammed that traitor against the wall, holy fire flaring in his gauntlets. We demanded answers. But before he could speak, something terrible happened. A dart came out of nowhere, aimed straight for his unsuspecting head. 1 second he was yelling, the next his head exploded in a spray of blood and bone. And then I saw him, a figure in shimmering gold robes, watching us from the roof above. He'd been watching us this whole time. We were never alone in that alley. I felt my blood run cold. We'd walked right into a trap, and we didn't even see it coming. Patrice was shaking so bad his medic's bag slipped right from his grasp. Sebastian's silver runes blazed brighter. His gaze locked on that figure, like he recognized him. That figure didn't move an inch, just stood there like he was judging every single one of us. Whoever he wasn't just a bystander, he was deep in this conspiracy. He still held the dart, the exact same one that had silenced our only lead. We were all frozen in place. None of us knew what move to make next. Our only evidence was gone. We had no answers, no way to prove anything, and then we heard footsteps. More men were heading our way, fast. Johann's holy fire flared to life. We weren't going down without a fight, that was for sure. But when I looked back up, that golden figure was gone, vanished without a trace into the night. Sebastian pulled out his silver rune scroll. We needed to get out of there, and fast. I summoned my windshield, ready to face whatever those approaching men had planned for us. I tensed up when I spotted that golden figure on the roof, who was this unexpected visitor. He leaped down before I could react. Robes stained with blood, this was no ordinary noble. I drew my windblade instantly, ready to defend my friends. This stranger was a wild card. He held up his hands, shouting he followed the assassins, he wasn't here to fight us. My friends tensed up too. Johann's gauntlets glowed, Sebastian's eyes sharp as knives. Patrice's medic badge glowed softly. He was ready to heal, but also ready to run. Then his tone turned cold, and he dropped a bombshell, the Golden Child prophecy. This Golden Child would either burn the Empire or save it from destruction. And then he said the Emperor chose Johann. My friend froze, completely stunned. I stared, confused. Why Johann? He was just a fiery tempered fire mage. Xander insisted the Emperor was sure Johann's holy fire matched the prophecy's signs. Sebastian said nothing, but his rune necklace glowed. He was already connecting the dots. The alley felt colder, like we were still being watched. This was bigger than we thought. He pulled out an old scroll covered in ancient writing that proved the Emperor's claim. The scroll showed a figure in holy fire with dragon scales glowing just like Johann's gauntlets. Xander's face grew somber. The Empire was on the brink, and this prophecy was their only hope. Johann clenched his fists, gauntlets glowing. He hated being labelled a chosen one. Patrice gripped his medic bag tight. He hated seeing us dragged into royal messes. I had to ask, where did this prophecy even come from? It felt out of nowhere. Xander shook his head. It was found in a locked palace chamber, hidden for centuries. I suggested we leave this alley. We couldn't talk secrets here safely. Xander nodded, and we moved out. I knew the real trouble was only just starting. Johann's face drained of colour. He staggered back like he'd stared down a dragon. The prophecy hit him like a fireball. I froze too. Xander's words hung heavy in the air, thick as the alley's damp mist. None of us saw this coming. Xander held up an old scroll, edges frayed with age. This wasn't just a story, it was a curse we couldn't outrun. As he unfurled it, silver runes glowed. The prophecy spoke of a fire mage who'd save or burn the Empire. The alley felt smaller suddenly, walls closing in. We were all tangled in this ancient mess now. Xander said, the Morels and Empire fought over this prophecy for centuries. Blood spilled over far less than this. The scroll showed battles, dragons clashing with mages, cities burning. This wasn't new, it was ancient hate. I glanced at my team. Patrice's hands shook. Sebastian's eyes narrowed. Who among us hid secrets? Patrice's bandaged hand trembled so bad I thought he'd drop his medic bag. This was more than jitters. Sebastian's expression was unreadable, but his silver rune necklace glowed like he held back magic, or lies. Then Xander dropped the bomb. Your team holds the key, but someone in your ranks is a traitor. My blood ran cold. A traitor? In our ragtag group? We'd fought side by side? How could that be? Johann's jaw tightened. Patrice looked away. Sebastian just stared. Every one of us had a reason to be suspicious. I glanced at the alley exit. A shadow moved in the dark. Someone watched us. We were never alone. Xander's eyes went hard. The Morels sold info to the Emperor. They want the Golden Child dead too. We huddled closer, magic flaring faintly. Whatever came, we'd face it together if we could trust each other. The puddle at my feet showed Xander's twisted face. He wasn't just a prince, he was our only ally in this mess. Johann's dragon scale gauntlets glowed with holy fire. He was scared, but ready to fight for his life. Footsteps echoed down the alley. Imperial assassins. They closed in fast, and we were split and vulnerable. I activated my wind magic, robes flaring. Whatever came, I wouldn't let my team fall. Not today, not ever. Our magic merged into a faint glow. We were ready, but the traitor among us still waited, hidden in plain sight. Xander's words hit me like a wind blade. A traitor in our team? I couldn't believe my ears. Johann's jaw tightened, his fire gauntlets flaring. He already suspected Patrice was hiding something. Then I saw it, Patrice's bandaged hand trembling. He wouldn't meet any of our eyes. Xander's face hardened. It wasn't just the Emperor. Moral Clan had sold us out too. Slowly, it sank in. We were trapped. Both sides wanted the Golden Child dead. Sebastian's silver rune necklace glowed faintly. He was already calculating our next move. Johann's fire flared brighter. He was ready to fight anyone who came for us. Patrice's eyes darted everywhere but us. The suspicion in the air was thick enough to cut. Xander pulled out a scroll. The Morels had traded our location for Imperial gold. My fingers tightened, wind magic humming at my fingertips. How could we trust anyone now? Then I heard it, faint footsteps, getting closer. Imperial assassins were closing in. Xander's voice dropped to a whisper. They're here. We don't have time to argue. Sebastian's hand drifted to his waist. He was always prepared for a fight. We spread out, forming a loose circle. Every shadow felt like a threat waiting to strike. Patrice's hand still shook, even as he tried to hide it. I didn't know what to think anymore. Johann's fire burned hot. He'd take down any assassin who dared show their face. I scanned every shadow. One wrong move, and we'd all be dead before we could react. The air was thick with tension. We waited, knowing the next sound would be the start of the fight. Then I saw a black boot stepping into the light. The assassins were here. I summoned my wind magic. No matter what happened, we wouldn't go down without a fight. I thought we'd shaken them off, but the Imperial assassins had us trapped tight. Black armor, dark magic, blades, they didn't come to talk. Sebastian didn't waste a second. His silver runes flared to life. Johann's gauntlets blazed with holy fire. He was ready to turn ash to ash. We'd bickered before, but right then, we stood as one. My wind shield flared up, catching the first wave of dark magic strikes. Johann unleashed a wave of holy fire, melting through their dark magic like wax. Sebastian's runes shot out, pinning assassins to the walls before they could move. Patrice's healing magic glowed, patching up the cuts before they even slowed me down. Their dark magic didn't stand a chance against that holy fire. Sebastian didn't stop his runes, turned the last of them to sitting ducks. Johann's final burst sent the last assassin flying into the wall. We'd done it, beat them back, without losing anyone, or so I thought. Xander's scream froze me. He was pointing up at something huge in the sky. An Imperial airship, cannons loaded with dark magic projectiles, was heading straight for us. Those cannons glowed with the same dark magic as the assassin's blades. Johann's fire flared up again. We weren't going down without a fight. Sebastian's runes blazed brighter than ever. He was calling for something big. We'd beaten assassins, but this was something we'd never faced before. My wind magic roared to life. Whatever came next, we were ready. Or were we? Black magic blasts rained from the airship. My wind barrier was our only defense. Every blast shook my shield. I could feel it weakening by the second. Xander's voice cut through the chaos. We had to run. Right now. Sebastian grabbed his silver scroll, already tracing the teleportation runes. Patrice moved in, his healing magic ready to boost the spell's power. My barrier was cracking. I couldn't hold off the blasts much longer. The scroll flared to life, silver light wrapping around us like a cocoon. Xander ran toward us, but Imperial soldiers were closing in fast. Sebastian's hands moved faster. The portal was almost ready. I ran for the portal, my barrier finally shattering behind me. Patrice's magic flared, boosting the portal's power just in time. The portal was open. We just had to jump through to safety. I was halfway through when I looked back. My blood ran cold. Xander was pinned, dark magic chains wrapping around his wrists tight. His lips formed a single word, Morels, the ones who'd betrayed us all along. Sebastian pulled me into the portal, but I couldn't shake that image from my mind. The portal closed behind us, leaving Xander trapped in their clutches. We landed in an alley, but I could only think of Xander and his final message. We had to go back for him. First, we needed answers about the Morels. The others looked just as grim. We weren't safe, and we wouldn't leave him behind. We finally teleported to safety, but every ounce of magic was drained from our bones. Our dorm looked like a battlefield, and we were the beaten soldiers left standing. I collapsed onto the couch, my legs too weak to hold me up for one more second. Patrice's healing magic glowed faintly, patching up the cuts we earned in the escape. Sebastian pulled out his runestone, ready to call the Moral clan for answers. The stone glowed brighter, and I held my breath, waiting for what it would show us. Our worst fear appeared on the stone. Xander had been captured by the Empire. Johann's gauntlets flared with holy fire. He was ready to storm the palace right then. Patrice shook so hard his glasses slipped. We all knew this was no small trouble. The message finished, and my blood ran cold. They wanted the golden child, or Xander dies at dawn. Outside, the sky lightened. We had hours, not days, to fix this nightmare. Sebastian said nothing, but his tight jaw told me he was already plotting. I clenched my fist so tight my knuckles whitened we weren't losing Xander. Not like this. I thought of Xander, chained and scared, and knew we had to bring him home. But the price of the golden child. None of us even knew who that was. Johann stared at his gauntlets. Could he be the one they were hunting? The room went dead silent, the weight of the choice hanging over every one of us. Patrice looked ready to run. Who could blame him? This was bigger than all of us. I stood up, voice steady even as my hands shook. We're not leaving him behind. One by one they nodded. But how save Xander without sacrificing the golden child? Whatever it took, we would find a way. Xander wasn't just our ally, he was our friend. We stared at that message in shock, Johann's fist slamming into the wall in pure fury. We can't just abandon Xander, I said firmly. He's our friend and we're not leaving him to die. Patrice adjusted his glasses, nervous but hopeful. The Moral clan might help us, he suggested. Sebastian shook his head, his voice sharp. We can't trust anyone right now. Everyone has their own agenda. Johann slammed his palm on the table, fire sparking in his eyes. Then we break into the palace ourselves and rescue him. We scrambled to grab our gear, packing scrolls and sharpening our magic. This was our only shot. Sebastian pulled out his silver rune scroll, already tracing the teleportation spell. Before we could even finish, the dorm door burst open, splinters flying everywhere. There stood Vladimir Morel, his scaled hands clenched, his presence filling the doorway. I heard about Xander, he said, his voice rough but steady. I'm coming with you. We all froze, staring at him in shock. Sebastian tensed, his hand drifting to his silver rune necklace. How did you find us? I demanded, magic flaring at my fingertips. This could be a trap. Vladimir scoffed, a faint smirk on his face. I've been watching this dorm since you defeated my son. I owe you for saving Vincent, he continued, and I'm the only one who can bypass the palace defenses. Sebastian narrowed his eyes, but after a moment he nodded. We had no better options. We got back to packing. Now with an unexpected ally, this rescue just got a lot more complicated. Johann and Vladimir locked eyes, fire and dragon magic clashing silently. For now, we were on the same side. Patrice double-checked his medic bag, his hands still shaking but determined. Sebastian's scroll flared to life, silver runes glowing bright. The palace was waiting. We stepped into that silver light, ready to face whatever the palace had in store. Xander, we're coming. My wind magic flared to life under my robes, ready to shield us or strike down anyone in our way. Vladimir's dragon scales peeked out from his sleeves, his ancient power thrumming under his skin. I stared down Vladimir, demanding to know how he tracked us to our hidden dorm. He admitted he'd been watching us non-stop since we defeated his son Vincent. Said he owed us for saving Vincent's life though. I didn't buy his sudden kindness. He claimed he was the only one who could bypass the Imperial Palace's impenetrable defenses. My friends and I exchanged wary looks. This was too convenient, too dangerous. Then his tone shifted, dead serious, like he was revealing a deadly secret. He told us holy fire wasn't just magic, it was a bloodline power tied to the Ignatius clan. Johann's gauntlets glowed faintly. This power was his, and we had no clue its true weight. Johann froze. He'd never heard his family's power was this ancient, this significant. The room went silent. We realized we'd been playing with forces bigger than the Empire. Vladimir leaned in, growling that the Ignatius line predated the entire Alcyone Empire. That's why the Empire fears us. They know we could tear their rule apart easily. My fists clenched. This wasn't just rescuing Xander anymore. This was a war waiting to explode. Sebastian's eyes narrowed. He didn't trust Vladimir's sudden ally act, and I couldn't blame him. We had a choice. Accept his help and face the Empire, or hide and let Xander die. Vladimir slammed his hand down. This was our only shot to save Xander and survive. Johann stepped forward, holy fire flaring. He was ready to embrace his power, no matter the cost. Patrice looked terrified. He knew what this fight would cost us, and he wasn't ready. I nodded. We had no other choice. We had to take the risk for Xander and us. We followed Vladimir out, knowing we were walking into a war that would rewrite history. Vladimir's scales glowed. Our bloodline held a weapon the Empire had feared for centuries. Sebastian's rune necklace warmed. His own power was tied to this ancient conflict too. Johann's shock faded into resolve. He was no longer just a fighter. He was an ancient heir. I walked silently, wondering what other secrets our powers held and what we'd lose to uncover them. The sun set. As we walked to the palace, our fight was only just beginning. I just learned the truth about my bloodline. I stared at my dragon scale gauntlets, stunned. Ancient dragon blood runs through me. I never saw this coming, not in a million years. What does this mean for me? Am I even the same person I was yesterday? Then Vladimir stepped closer, his clawed hand reaching for my gauntlet without warning. The second our skin touched, holy fire burst from the gauntlet, bathing us in golden light. The fire felt warm, not burning, like it was awakening something deep inside me. Vladimir's eyes lit up with approval. He hadn't expected this level of power from me. Your Ignatius blood is the purest I've seen in centuries, he said, shocking me to my core. That moment, I knew I had to embrace this power no matter what it cost me. We packed our things quickly, we had a palace to infiltrate, and time was running out. I grabbed my wind mage robes, my mind racing with all the dangers we might face at the palace. We moved quietly through the university halls, ready for whatever waited for us outside. The sun was setting as we stepped outside, painting the sky in fiery oranges and reds. An omen, maybe? In the distance, the Alcyone Empire's palace loomed our destination and our greatest risk yet. I had a bad feeling, like we were being watched, even out here in the open. We trekked through the empty fields, our boots crunching on dry grass. Every step felt heavier than the last. Finally, we reached the palace walls, golden stone carved with dragon motifs, imposing and unyielding. I peeked around the corner, scouting the guard patrols we needed a way in, and fast. That's when I saw him, a figure in golden robes, watching us from the palace walls. His eyes glowed with dark magic. And he wasn't just a guard, he was the Emperor's advisor, and he knew exactly who we were. My blood ran cold. How long had he been watching us? Did he know about our mission? He smirked, like he'd been waiting for us, like we were right where he wanted us to be. Then he spoke, his voice carrying through the air. The golden child has arrived. Perfect. We froze. How did he know about the golden child? Our secret was out, and we were trapped. My gauntlet glowed faintly, the holy fire reacting to the dark magic, like it knew we were in grave danger. We were trapped the second that advisor snapped his fingers. Royal guards closed in fast. Rows of armor-clad guards, all wielding dark magic blades. We were outnumbered instantly. But Vladimir didn't flinch. His dragon scales flared, and I knew chaos was coming. He unleashed a wave of dark magic, sending guards flying like ragdolls. The courtyard shook. When the dust cleared, half the guards were down. But we knew this was just the warm-up. Johann didn't wait. His gauntlets flared with holy fire, burning through dark magic shields. He charged forward, fire exploding with every punch. Guards' barriers melted like wax. Sebastian moved next, pulling out his rune scrolls. His magic was silent, but deadly. Runes shot out, wrapping around guards, freezing them solid before they could move. Half the guards were trapped, half were down, but we didn't stop to catch our breath. We pushed toward the inner gates, boots crunching over broken armor and stone. The inner gates loomed ahead, carved with ancient dragon runes. Magic hummed through the stone. Just as we reached the gates, a voice boomed from inside, cold, deep, and full of authority. It was the Emperor himself. His voice echoed, carrying a threat we couldn't ignore. We froze. We knew exactly who it was, and we knew what he wanted. He made his demand clear: give up the golden child, or Xander dies. It hit us like a punch. For a second, no one spoke. The Emperor had us over a barrel, plain and simple. Johann's hands curled into fists. His holy fire flared brighter, but doubt flickered in his eyes. Sebastian's eyes narrowed. He didn't speak, but I knew he was planning an escape. The Emperor's threat hung in the air. We had a choice to make, and time was running out. My wind magic stirred in my veins. I refused to let them use Xander as a pawn. Vladimir growled, dragon magic flaring. He's not getting anyone. Not on my watch. The dragon runes on the gates glowed, responding to Vladimir's magic. The palace itself was alive. We shared a look, no words needed. We were going in with or without permission. Whatever lay behind those gates, we were ready. For Xander and for each other. We burst into the throne room, and the first thing I saw, Xander, tied up and broken, but still burning with rage. The Emperor lounged on his golden throne like he owned every inch of this cold, cruel palace. I stepped forward, voice shaking with fury. Let him go. Now. But he just smirked. His response? A cold smirk. Hand over the golden child, or your friend dies here. Johann's gauntlets flared with holy fire ready to strike. Sebastian started weaving a spell to free Xander. Sebastian's rune necklace glowed bright. His magic was already unraveling Xander's chains. But the Emperor wasn't waiting. Dark magic coiled in his palm, ready to crush us all. Holy fire clashed with dark magic, an explosion of gold and black that shook the entire room. The room shook so hard, I stumbled. Then, something no one expected. The wall behind the throne opened. A hidden chamber filled with ancient magical artifacts, statues, crystals, scrolls we'd only read about in legends. The Emperor's face went white. He hadn't expected us to find this, his most guarded secret. We all stared, stunned. What was the Emperor hiding in this forbidden room? And that golden statue? It looked exactly like the one from the ancient prophecies we'd found. The Emperor roared, standing up. You weren't supposed to find this. Now you all die. We tensed up, ready to fight back. But the chamber behind us, it held secrets, bigger than we could imagine. Xander's chains started to crack. Sebastian's magic was working, even with the Emperor attacking. Then, the crystals in the chamber glowed brighter. Something was waking up in there, something old and powerful. The entire room lit up with magic hours, the Emperor's, and something else from that forbidden chamber. I stared at that chamber, my gut twisting. What had we just stumbled into? And just when I thought things couldn't get worse, the chamber's doors creaked open wider, revealing even more secrets. None of us could have guessed. The Emperor's palace hid something this terrifying. The Emperor's face drained of colour, stumbling back like he'd seen a ghost. I didn't hesitate. My wind magic flared, ready to free Xander. Wind blades sliced through those dark magic chains like they were paper. Xander collapsed free, and Patrice was already rushing to heal him. Patrice's healing magic wrapped around Xander's bruises, soft and warm. Sebastian didn't stop. He stepped toward that fire-wielding mage statue. His hand brushed the statue's cold stone, and something shifted. Golden holy fire burst from the statue, flooding the entire chamber with light. The statue's eyes blazed, like it was waking up after centuries. We all froze, staring at that glowing statue like we'd lost our minds. Then a voice echoed, deep and ancient, like it came from the stone itself. It said something that made my blood run cold. The Golden Child isn't just one person. It's two. Johann and Sebastian locked eyes like they already knew what this meant. Magic hummed in the air, mixing like it was, trying to tell us more. The Emperor watched from the shadows, his fear almost tangible. Sebastian's silver rune necklace flared, matching the statue's light beat for beat. Xander sat up, his wounds gone, but his face twisted with confusion. And that holy fire, it wasn't just glowing, it was growing. I tensed, ready for whatever was going to happen next. Whatever this meant, we were in this together for better or worse. The statue's voice boomed through the throne room, and the Emperor stumbled back in terror. I'd never seen the all-powerful Emperor look so scared before. Then, Sebastian finally spoke, saying we'd completely misread the prophecy. The so-called Golden Child wasn't just one person at all. It was a pair, a fire mage, and a silver enchanter working as one. Johann's gauntlets flared with holy fire, responding to Sebastian's runes. Sebastian's necklace glowed brighter, the silver runes pulsing in sync. Their magic collided, creating a wave of light that pushed back the dark magic. The Emperor's dark magic shattered, and he crumpled to the floor, helpless. The throne room shook, and a hidden door behind the throne creaked open. A silver-haired woman stood there, her eyes cold enough to freeze fire itself. As she walked, the dragon's scales on her skin glinted faintly in the dim light. When she spoke, her voice cut through the silence like a blade. You've awakened the true prophecy, she said, and the real battle starts now. I summoned my wind shield immediately, knowing we faced a far deadlier foe. Johann and Sebastian stood back to back, their magic merging once more. The Emperor was forgotten, helpless on the floor as we faced this new threat. Sebastian's eyes narrowed, he recognized who we were dealing with. I noticed the dragon amulet around her neck, it didn't belong to her. She smiled, cruel and cold, as her dark magic flared brighter around her. We stood our ground, ready to face whatever she threw at us. I knew in that moment that this was only the beginning of a new nightmare. That silver-haired woman, Vladimir just yelled her name, his own sister, Lilith! I'd never seen him so shaken. This wasn't an enemy. This was family betrayal. And she wasn't just family, she's the real secret leader of the Moral Clan. She's been watching our special class this whole time, waiting for the Golden Child to wake. We were just pawns in her game, waiting for her perfect strike moment. She spilled the truth. The Alcyone Empire destroyed her clan, stole our dragon blood. Centuries of hatred boiled in her eyes. She waited lifetimes for revenge. Cold chills ran through me. Everything we knew about the Empire was a lie. Johann's gauntlets flared with holy fire. He was ready to fight for our truth. She held out her hand, dark magic filling the room. She planned to burn everything to ash. We didn't want war, but we had no choice. We had to protect our home. Sebastian's rune necklace glowed brighter. His magic reacted to her dragon blood. Vladimir stepped between us, family or not. He wouldn't let her burn innocence. Lilith's face twisted in rage. She never thought her brother would betray her. She yelled she'd fulfill the ancient pact, no matter who stood in her way. The chamber walls lit up with runes, reacting to her ancient dragon magic. I summoned my wind shield, ready to take whatever she threw at us. Johann unleashed a wave of holy fire, our first strike against the real enemy. Her dark magic clashed with our holy fire, the whole chamber shook with force. This wasn't just a fight for the Empire, it was a fight for who we truly are. Her eyes glinted with madness. She thought we'd join her, help burn the Empire. Xander stepped forward, fire magic flaring. He wouldn't let her burn his people. Patrice stood with him, medic magic ready. He'd seen enough pain to last a lifetime. I told her we weren't murderers, we were mages, Here to protect, not destroy. Lilith laughed, dark magic flaring. We had no choice but to fight to the end. I thought we negotiated, but Lilith's true rage was just starting to unfurl. Xander stepped forward, refusing to burn the Empire where he'd made real friends. Her dragon scales flared pitch black, dark magic crackling like vengeful thunder. I stood with him. We were mages, not murderers, who'd incinerate innocents. Lilith just laughed, her cold sneer cutting through our fragile resolve. She didn't waste words, she had a far crueler card to play. Our dorm, our safe haven, was already wrapped in her dark magic's cold grip, and our classmates? They were her hostages, trapped and terrified inside. My wind magic flared to life, rage and fear warring in my pounding chest. She showed us our friends, trapped and helpless, her leverage to break us. Xander's eyes filled with rage. He hated that our friends paid for his choice. We stood back to back, ready to fight even if it meant facing impossible odds. Lilith raised her hand, a dark magic orb pulsing with destructive power. I threw up my windshield, the impact shaking me to my very bones. The magic collided, sending a shockwave that shook the ancient stone walls. Through the magic, I could see our friends' eyes begging us to save them. Lilith just watched, knowing we'd never abandon the people we cared about. I yelled back, refusing to bend to her cruel demands no matter what. Xander's fire magic blazed to life, matching my resolve with his own. We had no choice but to fight for our friends, and for the Empire we'd come to protect. But Lilith wasn't done. She unleashed more dark magic, overwhelming our defenses. Our shields started to crack, our magic fading under her relentless assault. Then a thought hit me. Lilith's power had a weakness. If we could find it, I pointed at her stolen amulet, her power source, the key to breaking her hold. Lilith's face dropped. She knew we'd found her one true vulnerability. I thought we'd won, but Lilith pulled out a weapon that shook the palace to its core. The throne room shook violently, and the Emperor stumbled back, his face drained of all colour. That dark dragon heart orb pulsed with a power that felt like it could devour everything. I watched Sebastian's expression shift, cold detachment replaced by unshakable resolve. Silver runes blazed around Sebastian, bright enough to cut through the dark magic's gloom. His silver rune necklace blazed like a star, awakening something long dormant within him. Golden light engulfed him, and I saw his form shift. This was no ordinary magic, it was primal. When he opened his eyes, they were no longer human, they were shimmering silver dragon scales. His hair turned to silver-black streaks, and scales spread across his face, marking his true heritage. He stood taller, his presence radiating the ancient power of the moral bloodline. Then he spoke, his voice deeper, carrying the weight of his true blood. I am immoral too. The Emperor froze, his face twisted in shock and fear. He'd never expected this twist. Lilith's smug grin vanished, replaced by a snarl. Sebastian's revelation had thrown her plan off balance. The room fell silent, the power shifting completely in our favour, but I knew this wasn't the end. His necklace and his scales glowed in unison, a perfect match of his magic and his true self. I stood there, stunned. My quiet, mysterious teammate was actually a dragon-blooded Morel. Even the dark orb seemed to dim, overwhelmed by the raw power of Sebastian's true form. Sebastian raised a hand, silver runes swirling in his palm, ready to take back control. The Emperor fumbled for his sword, desperate to regain any shred of authority he had left. In that moment, I knew, whatever came next, we weren't just mages anymore, we were legends in the making. Lilith's eyes burned with rage, and I could tell she wasn't going to back down without a fight. I summoned my windshield, ready to stand beside Sebastian and face whatever came our way. Every scale on Sebastian's skin shimmered, a reminder of the ancient power we now had on our side. The door creaked open, and a new light poured in, but I had a feeling this was only the beginning of the real battle. I couldn't contain it anymore. My true dragon form burst forth, exposed to everyone. Lilith froze, then stumbled back. She never expected this revelation. Vladimir stepped forward, voice cracking. He knew exactly who I was. "You're my son," he shouted, his clawed hand locked on me. The room went dead quiet, the truth hanging heavy between us all. I was stolen from the Morels as a child, raised by humans to hide my blood. They hid me away so no one could ever learn what I truly was. This necklace was my only link to my true self, hidden for years. I was raised to stop Lilith's vengeance, to keep her from burning the Empire. Lilith's eyes blazed with rage. She hated me for betraying her cause. She raised the dark dragon heart orb, its power pulsing with destruction. The orb's dark magic flared, ready to unleash a wave of annihilation. The entire chamber shook as Lilith channeled every ounce of her power. I tensed, summoning my silver rune magic to shield against her attack. Vladimir transformed too, his own dragon form emerging to stand with me. Father and son stood united, ready to stop Lilith from destroying all. "You won't harm this empire," Vladimir growled, his dragon voice echoing. Lilith laughed cruelly, the sound sending chills down my spine. She poured all her dark power into the orb. This was her final strike. We braced ourselves, combining our magic to withstand her devastating attack. I watched as Sebastian's dragon magic shattered that dark orb, sending Lilith into a rage. Lilith vanished in a burst of dark magic, screaming she'd burn us all later. The Emperor stepped forward, apologizing for the chaos and offering to rebuild our dorms. I turned him down flat. We didn't need the Empire's charity to fix what was ours. Xander announced he'd be returning to our special class, his fire magic now fully unlocked. Vladimir clapped a hand on Johann's shoulder, saying he'd help us unlock our dragon blood potential. As we left the palace, I fumbled with my dragon blood amulet, noticing something off about it. A hidden note slipped out when I pried the amulet open, another piece of the prophecy. My blood ran cold as I read it. There was a third part to the Golden Child prophecy. It said the Silver Tongue would either burn the Empire to ash, or be its only saviour. I looked up at Sebastian, wondering if he knew what this silver tongue business meant. We had no idea which path lay ahead, but we'd face it together, like always. Johan's gauntlets flared with faint, holy fire. He was ready for whatever came next. Patrice looked worried, adjusting his glasses like he always did when he was anxious. We headed for the waiting carriage, the weight of that new prophecy hanging over us all. I couldn't stop replaying those words in my head, ruin or saviour. Which would it be? The ride back was quiet. No one knew what to say about the prophecy's third part. Sebastian's silver rune necklace glowed faintly like it was reacting to the note's magic. The sun dipped lower as we travelled, painting the sky in shades of orange and purple. I stared out the window, wondering which of us would be that silver tongue and what it would cost us. We stumbled back to our dorm, that strange note still clutched tight. Something felt deeply wrong. Sebastian snatched it from me, his eyes narrowing as he scanned the cryptic writing. He said, the silver tongue isn't a myth. They're the only one who can balance the golden child's power. Johan slammed his fist down. He'd had enough of prophecies, he just wanted to get stronger. I couldn't blame him. All we'd faced since day one was lies and hidden agendas. Patrice stepped forward, his hands glowing faintly. He was staying, his healing magic fully unlocked at last. For the first time, he didn't look scared. He looked like he truly belonged here with us. I offered to check the dorms. After everything, I wasn't taking any chances with our safety. The halls were too quiet. Every shadow looked like it was hiding something dangerous. That's when I saw it, a crack of light from the hidden chamber we'd sealed tight weeks ago. My heart skipped a beat. We'd sealed that chamber for a reason. How was it open? I crept closer, my hand hovering over the windshield I could summon in an instant. A figure stepped into the glow, holding a dark orb pulsing with forbidden, corrupted magic. They weren't from the Morel clan, no dragon scales, no familiar dark marks on their robes. That orb, it wasn't like anything we'd ever seen. It reeked of pure, unadulterated darkness. They laughed, a cold, hollow sound that made my skin crawl. The Morels aren't the only ones wanting the golden child. My blood ran cold. How many others knew about the prophecy? How many were hunting us? Before I could attack, they stepped back into the shadows, the orb's glow fading with them. The chamber door slammed shut, leaving me alone in the silent hall, my mind racing. We weren't just fighting the Morels anymore. Something bigger, darker, was closing in fast. I ran back to the dorm, shouting for the others. We needed to prepare right now. Sebastian was already on his feet, runes glowing. Johan's gauntlets sparked with holy fire, ready for a fight. I was checking hidden archives when a shadow moved. My blood ran cold. This wasn't one of us. The shadow stepped out of the hidden door, robe blending with darkness. Something felt very wrong. A glint caught my eye, a black dragon emblem. This was no ordinary intruder. I stepped forward, hand hovering over wind runes. I had to force him to talk. The air thickened with tension. I snapped, demanding he reveal his true purpose. He didn't flinch, just let the light hit that dragon emblem. This was the Blackland's doing. His eyes glowed with dark magic. I could feel the corrupt energy radiating from him. I summoned a windshield, its cyan glow cutting through the dark. I wasn't taking any chances. He grinned, cold and cruel. He knew exactly who I was and what we guarded. The hidden door clicked shut behind him. We were trapped together, and he wasn't hiding anymore. My fist tightened, the scar on my knuckle throbbing. I yelled, "Tell me what you want with the golden child!" He spread his hands, dark magic flickering. The Black Lands wants the golden child's power to conquer the Empire. My blood boiled. Conquer the Empire? They'd destroy everything we work to protect. The magic in the room reacted, books floating slightly. He wasn't done with his threats. He pulled at his dusty robe. "We've been watching your special class for weeks. Every move you make is known." I felt sick. They'd been watching us this whole time. How many of our plans were compromised? I lunged forward, windshield blazing. "What else are you hiding? Spit it out!" He laughed, sharp and mocking. "In 3 days, our dark mages will attack the university." I froze. 3 days? We had so little time to prepare for an army of dark mages. Dark magic swirled around him. "Enjoy your last 3 days. We'll take what's ours." My fear melted into resolve. "I won't let them destroy our home. We'll be ready." He vanished in a puff of dark smoke. I was alone in the chamber, but the threat was far from gone. When we heard the Blackland's attack plan, my blood ran cold. This was way bigger than we thought. Johan was ready to charge right then, but Sebastian, he just stared, ice in his eyes. "We can't trust anyone right now," he warned. "Not even the people we once called allies." Johan slammed his fist, yelling, "We should beg the Morels for help. Desperate times call for desperate moves." Patrice fumbled with his communicator trying to reach the Imperial Army, but I just stood there thinking, "We don't need their help," I said firmly. "We can protect our home on our own." Patrice looked up, hopeful. Maybe the Empire would send troops to back us up. "It's a trap," Sebastian hissed. "The Empire will just use us as cannon fodder." I didn't care who was right or wrong. I just had to make sure we were ready. As I reached the window, my breath caught. Something was wrong with the sky. Those weren't just any airships. They were marked with the Blacklands' dragon symbol. The others noticed too. Johan roared. Patrice whimpered. Sebastian just reached for his rune scroll. They were here way earlier than we expected. Our whole plan was already in ruins. I sprinted out of the dorm, yelling for everyone to follow. We had to act now, or we'd all burn. Johan's gauntlets flared with holy fire, ready to fight. For once, I was glad he was so battle-hungry. Sebastian unfurled his scroll, already weaving a binding spell. We weren't going down without a fight. Patrice's hands glowed with healing magic, ready to patch us up when we got hurt. We were a team, finally. But as we lined up, I saw the cannons on their ships. They weren't here to negotiate, they were here to destroy us. I summoned my windshield, bracing for the first blast. This was it, our final stand. We stood together, magic flaring around us. No matter what came next, we'd face it as one, or so I thought. The first shot rang out, and I knew we were in way deeper than we ever imagined. The Blacklands airships are bombarding us. Those dark magic cannons mean certain doom. I had to act fast. Our home was being torn to shreds right before my eyes. I threw up my windshield, praying it could hold against that dark magic onslaught. Sebastian joined in, his silver rune shield wrapping around the entire university like a protective blanket. For a moment, we breathed easy. We bought ourselves some time, but Johan wasn't done. His holy fire flared, ready to fight back. He launched that holy fire straight at those cannons. We weren't just defending, we were counterattacking. The cannons melted under that holy fire. We were turning the tide. Then, Xander and Vladimir arrived with the moral clan reinforcements we desperately needed. Their dragon magic tore through the remaining airships. We had this in the bag. The last airship crashed and burned. We let out a collective sigh of relief. We thought we'd won, that the danger was finally behind us. But then the air twisted out, stepped the Blacklands general, and my heart sank. He stared us down, that dragon emblem on his armor glinting menacingly. The tension in the courtyard was thick enough to cut with a sword. That dragon badge, it meant he wasn't just some ordinary soldier. This battle is just the beginning, he snarled, sending chills down my spine. Johan's holy fire flared again. He wouldn't back down, not when we needed him. Sebastian's runes glowed too. We were ready to stand together, no matter what. And then he said it, the golden child will be ours. What dark plan was he hiding? That Blacklands general just activated a dark magic orb, throwing up an unbreakable shield around himself. Me, Sebastian, Johan, and Vladimir, we were trapped outside staring at that impenetrable wall of dark magic. Sebastian didn't waste a second. He pulled out his silver rune scroll, ready to break through. Johan's dragon scale gauntlets flared with holy fire. He was ready to burn through anything in our way. We lined up, our powers humming in sync, ready to take down that barrier and the general behind it. But Vladimir stepped forward first, his clawed hands crackling with raw, powerful dragon magic. He unleashed a wave of dragon magic, slamming straight into the barrier with a deafening crash. The barrier shrieked, spiderweb cracks spreading. Vladimir's magic was actually working. With a final roar, the barrier shattered, and the general's face drained of all colour. We charged forward, our powers flaring, ready to demand answers from that bloodthirsty monster. Sebastian slammed his scroll to the ground, silver runes wrapping around the general, pinning him down. I stepped closer, wind magic swirling, ready to make him talk, one way or another. That general spat insults at us, his eyes burning with hatred. He thought he could still defy us. Vladimir leaned in, his dragon magic flaring again. He wasn't going to let this go easy. Finally, he broke. That scowl faded, replaced by pure, utter desperation. He whispered at first spy, and my blood ran cold. There was a mole in our special class. We exchanged looks, shock, anger, suspicion written all over our faces. Who among us could have betrayed us? Sebastian's silver rune necklace glowed faintly. Had he already suspected something was off? The general laughed bitterly, saying the spy had leaked our magic secrets for weeks. My hands curled into fists, wind magic flaring. How could someone we trusted do this to us? Then he said the worst part of this spy was someone we trusted with our lives. A friend? Johan turned red with rage. Sebastian narrowed his eyes, and I just felt hollow. Who could it be? The general cackled, that evil grin spreading. He knew we'd never see it coming. Sebastian's scroll flared to life, his head snapping to the side like he heard something we didn't. As we left, he yelled one last thing. They're closer than you think. You'll never guess who. My blood ran cold when that general spat his accusation there's a spy in our team. Every single one of us froze, none of us wanting to believe this betrayal could be real. Sebastian's silver runes flared to life, casting an eerie glow as he scanned each of us. His gaze locked on Patrice, and I noticed his hands start to shake violently. Patrice shrank back, his eyes darting away like he could hide from the magic. Johan's fury exploded fire magic flared around his gauntlets, ready to confront the traitor. The heat from his fire washed over us as he marched toward Patrice. Sebastian slammed his hand down, a truth spell erupting to force the general to speak. The general screamed it loud. Patrice leaked our magic to the Blacklands for months. Patrice broke down right then, tears streaming as he stopped hiding the truth. He sobbed the Blacklands, took his sister hostage, using her to control him. They'd kill her if he didn't obey. He said he had no other choice at all. I stood there, torn, angry at betrayal, but aching for the healer we called friend. Johan's fire died down in confusion, while Sebastian stared, unreadable as ever. Before we could process it, a shadow dropped an assassin with a dark magic blade. He roared he'd silence Patrice and his sister to tie up loose ends. I threw up my windshield instantly, diving between Patrice and that deadly blade. The assassin's face twisted in rage, his dark magic flaring to strike through my shield. Johan's fire blazed back. Sebastian's runes flared bright. We were ready to fight. The blade slammed into my shield, and I knew this fight was only just starting. Patrice whimpered behind me, terrified the assassin would make good on his threat. Johan's gauntlets burned brighter, ready to unleash a wave of holy fire. Sebastian prepared a binding spell, determined to keep this assassin from escaping. The air hummed with magic, and I braced for a fight that could cost us everything. I barely registered the movement before that dark magic sword lunged straight for Patrice's chest. I summoned a wind blade with all my might, shoving the fatal strike off course. The sword skidded off my wind blade, but the assassin's rage only grew. Johan roared, holy fire erupting from his gauntlets to incinerate the cursed blade. Sebastian didn't waste a second. He unfurled his rune scroll to cast teleport magic. Patrice's sister screamed as the teleport spell wrapped around her, yanking her to safety. Patrice's hands glowed with healing magic. He tended to the assassin's wounds without hesitation. Vladimir Morel stepped forward, his dragon scales glinting. He'd take the assassin into his clan's protection. The assassin was dragged away, growling, but we knew the threat was far from over. Patrice pulled a crumpled note from his robes, his hands shaking as he handed it to me. My blood ran cold when I read it. Blacklands would strike at midnight with a dark dragon heart orb. We stared at each other, the weight of the threat pressing down on us like lead. Johann clenched his gauntlets, holy fire flickering. We weren't going down without a fight. Sebastian's rune necklace glowed brighter, sensing the dark magic brewing on the horizon. We turned and ran back to the university, every second counting until midnight. The university gates loomed ahead, but we knew it wouldn't be a safe haven for long. I squeezed the note so tight, my knuckles turned white. We had hours to prepare, but was it enough? Our allies gathered, their faces set with determination. We were ready for whatever came. I caught a flash of the Blacklands emblem on a distant roof. They were already watching us. Midnight was coming fast, and the fate of the entire university rested on our shoulders. Johann channeled more holy fire, his gauntlets glowing bright enough to light the courtyard. Sebastian unfurled his largest scroll, blazing runes, weaving defensive wards around the grounds. Patrice stocked up on healing potions, his hands still shaking from the earlier attack. I summoned a wind shield, testing its strength as I mapped our final defense positions. We stood together, waiting for the midnight bell to ring, ready to fight for our home. That note made my blood run cold. To stop that orb, we need to merge powers no one's ever combined before. Sebastian spoke first, listing 3 forces, plus my wind magic to amp the whole thing up. Holy fire from Johann, dragon magic from the Morels, Sebastian's runes, my wind ties it all together. Just as we doubted, the door crashed open. Xander and Vladimir arrived with the Moral clan as backup. The Morels' dragon magic hummed in the air. We had all the pieces, now we just had to make them work. Johann's gauntlets flared with holy fire, the first spark of our combined power. Sebastian's rune necklace glowed brighter, syncing with his scroll in perfect rhythm. I raised my hands, calling the wind to wrap around us, ready to amplify every ounce of power. Vladimir roared, and the Morels unleashed their dragon magic, dark, raw, and unyielding. The room lit up with a dozen colours. For a second I thought we might actually pull this off. But then a shadow blocked the sun. We rushed to the window and saw the Blacklands fleet right outside. At the fleet's centre, that dragon heart orb pulsed with a sickening dark light that twisted my magic. All our hope curdled into dread. That orb wasn't just a weapon, it was a ticking clock we might not stop. I clenched my fists. We had no time to hesitate. We had to merge our magic now. We locked hands, our magics crashing together. For a second I felt them weaving into something new, something powerful. The light swelled between us, mixing holy gold, dragon black, rune silver, and wind's pale blue. It rose, filling the whole room, and for a moment I forgot the fleet outside. We might just win this. But outside, the orb flared back, its dark light pushing against our own. It was a battle we couldn't lose. Sebastian's face tightened. He could feel it too. Our merged magic was wavering, fighting against itself. We all gritted our teeth, pouring more magic into the bond. If we broke now, the Empire would burn to ash. The Blacklands General's dark dragon heart orb blazed our worst nightmare had just begun. Dark magic exploded outward, threatening to swallow everything in its path. We didn't stand a chance alone, but together, we could fight back. Johann unleashed his holy fire, cutting through the dark magic like a blade of light. Our combined magic collided with the dark blast, shaking the very ground beneath us. The dark magic shattered, and the general's rage turned to pure fury. He screamed threats, but his forces were already crumbling around him. Then she appeared, Lilith, free from her rune bonds, a new terror unleashed. She held the dark dragon heart orb's remains, and her gaze promised total destruction. The orb's dark magic pulsed in her grasp, stronger than ever before. Her dragon scales had turned black, her rage amplified into something unhinged. She locked eyes with us, and I knew this was no ordinary fight. Her voice cut through the air. This time, I'll burn the entire Empire to ash. We tensed, ready to stand our ground, but could we stop her? Dark magic surged from her, far more powerful than the general's ever was. Sebastian's rune necklace blazed. He was already plotting our counterattack. Johann's holy fire blazed on his gauntlets, ready to meet her dark assault. I reinforced my wind shield, bracing for an impact that could decide our fate. Patrice stood ready to heal our wounds. We couldn't afford to lose anyone now. Xander drew his royal sword, standing with us to defend our home. Lilith's grin widened. She was ready to unleash her full, destructive power. Just when we thought we'd won, Lilith returned with a dark dragon heart orb that could devour the sky. The sky turned pitch black in seconds, every last ray of sunlight snuffed out by her dark power. Sebastian didn't hesitate, his silver runes flared, ready to shield us from the coming storm. My gauntlets blazed with holy fire, burning bright even in the all-consuming darkness. Then Vladimir arrived with the Morel clan, their dragon magic rippling like a living shadow. I channeled my wind magic, pushing it to amplify every bit of our combined power. Lilith unleashed a wave of dark magic, so powerful it shook the entire palace. Our combined magic flared to life, forming a shield strong enough to hold back her attack. Sebastian's true dragon form burst forth, his silver scales glowing brighter than ever before. He wove his runes into binding chains, ready to trap Lilith once and for all. Lilith screamed and lashed out, but her dark magic couldn't break through the runes. The chains wrapped around her limbs, pinning her in place before she could escape. Vladimir stepped forward, his face cold with anger and betrayal. His voice boomed through the chamber, every word heavy with authority. "You are no longer a Morel," he declared. "You are a traitor to our clan." Lilith snarled, her eyes blazing with hatred, but she couldn't break free. The Morel clan moved in, ready to take her away to face her punishment. We stood together, exhausted but relieved that the fight was finally over for now. Sebastian's runes dimmed, his dragon form fading back to his human appearance. The darkness slowly lifted, sunlight filtering back into the chamber as we caught our breath. Vladimir approached us, his hard expression softening into a look of approval. He clapped Sebastian on the shoulder, a quiet pride in his voice for his son. But I could see Johann still had his guard up. We all knew this wasn't truly the end. We turned to leave the palace, ready to head back to our dorm, but a new threat was already brewing. Vladimir finally gave the order. Lilith was bound tight by silver runes, done for. But she wouldn't break easily, her eyes blazing with unspoken rage as she stared us down. "This isn't over," she snarled. "The Morel clan will rise again, and you'll burn." Her threats hung in the air as she was dragged away by Vladimir's clan members. Just as we caught our breath, the Emperor himself stepped into the hall. I held my breath. What could the ruler of the Empire want with us now? Then he dropped the bombshell. Our ragtag special class was now an official part of the university. I couldn't believe my ears. We'd barely finished our first month of classes. Johann's jaw hit the floor. Sebastian's stoic face cracked. We were all stunned speechless. But he wasn't done. We were to graduate immediately as fully fledged special class mages. Johann whooped, pumping his fist. All that tough training had finally paid off. Even Sebastian managed a small smile. He was just as relieved as the rest of us. We cheered and hugged, all the recent danger fading into a distant memory. We made our way back to our dorms, ready to finally kick back and relax. But as I walked, I felt a strange warmth coming from my dragon blood amulet in my pocket. I pulled it out, and a tiny glowing note fluttered from its hidden compartment. It drifted down slowly, its edges glowing with faint, ancient magic. I unfolded it, and my eyes widened at the fourth part of the prophecy. It said the silver tongue would wed the golden child, their child ruling a new empire. Sebastian's face burned bright red, and Johann burst into loud, mocking laughter. "Looks like you got an emperor to marry," Johann teased between laughs. We all joined in, teasing him until he pretended to storm off in annoyance. But under all the jokes, a chill ran down my spine. This prophecy was just getting started. That prophecy's final line, we all burst out laughing. This is ridiculous. Johann just rolled his eyes. He only cares about getting stronger, not royal prophecies. Patrice adjusted his glasses. He's staying to teach the new mages. I slammed my fist on the table. We needed a celebration, and we needed it now. Just then the door flew open. Xander showed up with a massive chocolate cake. Even the cake had dragon scales. Xander really went all out. Before we could dig in, Vladimir arrived with crates of rare magical artifacts. These weren't just toys, these were tools to make us true powerhouses. We spent the night laughing, eating, and planning our next semester. As the party died down, I glanced out the window and froze. A silver-haired woman with dragon scales was staring right at us. Her eyes held something like approval, but why would she watch us? "Guys, look!" I yelled, but when they turned, she was gone. The roof was completely empty, not even a footprint left behind. Johann's gauntlets flared faintly. He was just as confused as I was. Patrice grabbed his healing crystal, scanning for any hidden magic nearby. But the crystal stayed dark, no traces of dark magic, no spells, nothing. Xander narrowed his eyes. He knew that, look, that power. Then my dragon blood amulet warmed up like it recognized her magic. We all stood there, silent. Who was she? And what did she want from us? This wasn't just a random watcher. Something big was coming. Morning came, and my wind magic was back, thrumming in my veins like never before. Glancing around the dorm, everyone was already back to routines like nothing had happened. Sebastian was deep in study, working on advanced runes I'd never seen before. Johann was practicing his holy fire, the flames burning brighter than I'd ever witnessed. Then, Xander showed up. His fire magic was finally fully unlocked, ready to train with us. Patrice was whipping up healing potions, his hands steady. Now his magic was back. Xander joined Johann, their fire magic merging in a brilliant display I'd never seen. For a moment, it felt like we were just normal mages training for the next semester. Then the door crashed open, and the headmaster burst in, his face as pale as a ghost. His hands were trembling as he held an imperial summons, and I knew something terrible was wrong. The Alcyone Empire had declared war on the Morel clan, and he wanted us to fight for them. Silence filled the room. None of us expected to be dragged into a royal war like this. Johann's fists clenched, his holy fire flaring in anger. This wasn't our fight to pick. Patrice looked scared, but I could see he wasn't going to back down either. 24 hours. We had exactly 24 hours to give him our answer. As the door closed behind him, I knew our peaceful days were officially over. Sebastian was already plotting, his eyes fixed on the floor like he was working through a plan. Xander looked conflicted. His father's empire was at war, but the Morels weren't our enemies. My wind magic was thrumming again, but this time, it wasn't for training, it was for a fight I didn't want. Silence hung in the air. We had 24 hours to pick a side, but what choice did we really have? I stared at the training marks on our wall, thinking of all the peaceful days we'd had here. Johann walked to the window, staring out at the campus like he couldn't believe this was happening. Patrice grabbed his finished potions like he was already preparing for the worst. Sebastian unrolled another rune scroll, already working on a way out of this mess. As I stared at that closed door, I knew whatever we chose, our lives would never be the same again. The headmaster burst in, an imperial summons in his trembling hands. We all froze. None of us expected this. The Empire wanted us to fight in their royal war. Johann slammed his fist. We're mages, not royal soldiers. We won't fight their war. Sebastian stepped forward, voice calm. We should stay neutral. Don't pick sides in this mess. Patrice spoke up, quieter but firm. The Morels are protecting innocent people from the Empire's army. Xander's face hardened. My father leads the Morels now. They need our help to survive. I clenched my fists. I knew what I had to do, but I wouldn't raise a hand to kill. We'll help the Morels, I said, but we only protect the innocent. No killing, no exceptions. I closed my eyes, letting wind magic flow through me to scout the land beyond the walls. What I saw made my blood run cold. Imperial soldiers were attacking a small defenseless village. I snapped my eyes open, rage boiling in me. They're burning the village. We have to go. Now. No one argued. Johann grabbed his gauntlets. Sebastian, his scrolls. We were ready to move. Johann's gauntlets glowed with holy fire. He was ready to fight for the innocent. Sebastian traced his silver scroll. We'll need portals to get there fast. No time to waste. We grouped up, magic flaring around us. The portal would take us straight to the heart of the village. Patrice grabbed his medic bag. I'll heal the injured. No one else has to get hurt today. Xander's sword hilt glinted. My father is leading the Morels. We won't let him fall alone. The portal blazed to life. We stepped forward, ready to face whatever waited in the burning village. The wind rushed around me. I could smell smoke and fear from the village ahead. When we arrived, the village was already in ruins. The Imperial soldiers were still attacking the villagers. I couldn't stand it. I raised my hands, wind magic gathering around my fingers to protect the innocent. Johann roared, unleashing holy fire that pushed the soldiers back. The fight to save the village had truly begun. We burst into the burning village. Time was running out to save the innocent villagers. Homes burned around us, villagers screaming this was no skirmish, it was a massacre. I threw up my windshield, wrapping it around the huddled, terrified villagers behind me. Johann charged the Imperial mages, holy fire blazing on his gauntlets like a vengeful sun. His fire exploded through their dark barriers, shattering them into worthless black smoke. Sebastian moved silently, his silver runes glowing to trap the advancing soldiers. The runes snaked around the soldiers, pinning them to the ground before they could strike. Patrice knelt beside the wounded, his healing magic wrapping their cuts like gentle blue bandages. Xander rode in with the Morel clan. Our reinforcements had finally arrived. Vladimir unleashed his dragon magic, black waves of power forcing the soldiers back in fear. The Imperial general's face twisted with rage. He wasn't ready to admit defeat. He drew his dark magic sword, screaming threats that made my blood run cold. I reinforced my shield, ready to face whatever he threw at us next. Johann's holy fire flared brighter, ready to take down the general once and for all. The general backed away as his remaining soldiers were overwhelmed by the Morel clan. With a snarl, he declared we'd declared war on the Empire. He fled, yelling that the Emperor would burn our special class dorms to ash. My blood ran cold. Our home, our safe haven, was now a target. Xander stood beside me, his hand on my shoulder. We'd face this together. We stood our ground, ready to protect what was left, no matter what the Emperor threw at us. Patrice finished healing the last villager, his magic fading as he sighed in relief. Sebastian stared toward the Empire. He knew this was far from over. Johann clenched his fists, the last of his holy fire fading, but his resolve burned brighter. Vladimir approached Sebastian, a strange look in his eyes. There was more to their bond than we knew. We left the villagers to rebuild, knowing we had to prepare for the Emperor's wrath. The Blacklands General's dark magic orb blazed to life. This was going to get ugly fast. I summoned my windshield instantly, braced for the coming blast. That orb's power was raw, unfiltered destruction. We had to stop it now. My windshield flared to life, cyan light cutting through the dark magic's haze. The impact hit like a freight train, but my shield held barely. Sebastian's silver rune necklace blazed. He was about to unleash something big. Silver runes erupted from his hands, streaking straight for the dark orb. The orb shrieked as the runes tore through it. We'd broken its power. Johann's gauntlets blazed with holy fire. He was ready to push them back. A wave of holy fire exploded outward, sending the Imperial soldiers scrambling. The fire ate through their dark armor, and they ran like scared rats. Patrice stepped forward, his healer's magic already glowing to help the wounded. His hands lit up with soft blue light, mending the soldiers' wounds gently. Even our enemies deserved mercy. We weren't monsters, after all. The general was being dragged away, but he had one last secret for me. He leaned in, voice a snarl. The Emperor has a dragon heart orb. He's coming for the Morels. My blood ran cold. This was bigger than we ever imagined. And he sent assassins for the Golden Child? He nodded at Johann. Johann's face went pale. He connected the dots faster than I did. The Golden Child. That's me. He breathed, his voice shaking with shock. The battlefield went quiet, but we all knew this was far from over. But if the Emperor wanted a fight, he was going to get one from all of us? I froze when I heard it. The Emperor wants me dead, all because of my holy fire. Sebastian nodded grimly. The general wasn't lying. The Emperor knew everything. Vladimir stepped forward, growling that he'd keep me safe no matter what. But I cut him off. We didn't need his protection. We could defend ourselves. That's when the air went cold. We weren't alone anymore. Dark blades glinted in the shadows. The Emperor's assassins had found us. They emerged from every corner, circling us like hungry wolves. Their swords hummed with dark magic, all focused on one target, me. My gauntlets tingled, holy fire waking at the threat. I wouldn't go down easy. Sebastian's runes flared to life, already weaving a binding spell. Doran threw up a windshield, its pale glow pushing back the dark energy. Vladimir's hands shifted to scaled claws, ready to tear through our enemies. The assassins struck as one, a wave of dark magic surging toward us. I roared, unleashing a burst of holy fire that met their magic head-on. The clash shook the village, light and dark warring in the air. One assassin's sword melted under my fire, his scream cutting through the noise. Sebastian's spells snared two more, pinning them to the ground with silver runes. Doran sent wind blades slicing through the crowd, forcing them back. Vladimir launched 3 assassins into the air, his dragon magic overwhelming them. The rest hesitated, fear flickering in their eyes, but they weren't done yet. The lead assassin snarled, his sword glowing brighter with dark power. He unleashed a massive wave of dark magic, far stronger than before. We joined forces, our magic merging into a single wall of light. The impact sent debris flying, the force pushing us back a step. When the light faded, the lead assassin lay crumpled, his magic spent. The others fled into the shadows, vanishing before we could chase them. We stood there, breathless, our clothes torn and our magic drained. The villagers emerged from hiding, their faces filled with relief and fear. I stared at my gauntlets. This wasn't over. The Emperor would send more. Sebastian pulled out a scroll, already preparing to get us out of there. Assassins struck out of nowhere. My windshield was our only line of defense. Johann didn't hold back. Holy fire burned through their dark magic like paper. Sebastian's runes flared to life, trapping the assassins before they could flee. Xander charged in next, his fire magic merging with Johann's to turn the tide. Vladimir's dragon magic finished the job we'd won for now. Patrice got to work healing the villagers, his magic glowing softly in the chaos. As I caught my breath, my fingers brushed against the dragon blood amulet. A folded note fell out, something I'd never noticed hidden inside before. I unfolded it, my heart racing as I started to read the words written there. It said the Emperor's dragon heart orb was a fake, all a trap. They'd been luring the golden child right into their grasp this whole time. The note said the real orb was hidden in the palace's secret chambers. I clenched the note tight, knowing we'd walked into something huge. Johann noticed my expression and walked over, asking what the note said. I looked at him, realizing he was the one they'd been hunting all along. The others gathered around, sensing that this changed everything. Sebastian's runes flickered like he could sense the danger waiting for us. Vladimir's dragon scales glowed. He knew how high the stakes were now. We had to get to the palace fast before the Emperor's trap closed in. As we set out, I couldn't shake the feeling that we were walking into the lion's den. That note left us frozen. Sebastian was right. The Emperor's been laying a deadly trap this whole time. He's after Johann's holy fire, wants to burn the Morale clan to ash using our own power against us. I couldn't let that happen. We had to sneak into the palace, find the real dragon heart orb first. Xander and Patrice didn't hesitate to join. We were all in this together now. We huddled over our map, plotting every step to slip past the Imperial guards unseen. The palace was a maze of traps, but we'd studied every inch from old mission files. Johann polished his gauntlets, Sebastian checked his rune scrolls, we were as ready as we'd ever be. We slipped through the Secret Service entrance under cover of the fading dusk. The palace halls were eerily quiet, every shadow feeling like it held a hidden guard. I kept glancing over my shoulder, half expecting Imperial soldiers to burst through the doors. That's when I spotted it, a tiny hidden camera tucked into the stone wall, lens glinting faintly. It wasn't just one. Looking closer, I saw them everywhere, watching every move. The Emperor hadn't just set a trap, he'd been watching us this entire time. Sebastian's runes flickered, picking up the faint magical signal from each device. Every breath we took, every plan we made, he'd seen it all through these eyes. Sebastian had a plan. He could jam the signals using his rune scrolls, but we had to move fast. His runes flared to life, ready to scramble the camera feeds and buy us some time. We moved forward again. Lighter, but still tense, we were still in the lion's den. The real dragon heart orb was just beyond that door if we could get to it before the Emperor figured out his feeds were down. I gripped the handle, ready to push through. Whatever was inside, we were ready to face it. After sneaking through the palace, we finally reached the hidden chamber's door. But this was only the start. We weren't alone in this mission. Every one of us carried our own secrets and magic. Sebastian's silver rune necklace started to glow. He was ready to break the chamber's defenses. His fingers moved over the ancient runes, each movement precise and full of purpose. The runes on the door flared to silver light. The magic barrier was reacting to his touch. One by one, the runes shifted, aligning in a pattern I'd never seen before. His face was stone cold focused. Breaking this barrier wasn't just a task, it was personal. I could feel the wind magic gathering in my palms. I was ready to help once the barrier fell. The last rune locked into place, the barrier was almost gone. Then the door creaked open, and a warm golden light spilled out into the dark hallway. All of us froze. That light, it wasn't the dark magic we expected. Inside, floating in the center, was a golden dragon heart orb, glowing with holy light. It wasn't a weapon of destruction. This orb was pure defensive magic. The Emperor had lied to us all. Johann's eyes widened. He'd been ready to fight dark magic, not this. We stepped inside, our eyes fixed on the orb. Everything we thought we knew was wrong. Then a shadow fell over the doorway. We weren't alone anymore. The Emperor stood there, his face twisted with rage. He'd been waiting for us. His golden imperial robe seemed to glow with fury. This was his prized possession we'd found. That orb is mine. You thieves will pay with your lives. We tensed, our magic flaring to life. The real fight was just beginning. I summoned my windshield, ready to block whatever attack came first. Sebastian's runes blazed brighter. He wasn't backing down either. Johann's dragon scale gauntlets started to glow with holy fire. He was ready to fight. Patrice's medic magic flared softly, and Xander drew his sword. We were a team, ready to stand together. The golden orb glowed between us, a silent witness to the fight that was about to tear the palace apart. The Emperor's dark dragon magic exploded through the palace. We were seconds from being crushed. We grabbed the dragon heart orb, our only shot at surviving this onslaught. Our powers merged with the orb wind, holy fire, and silver runes, becoming one unstoppable force. Sebastian's true dragon form broke free, his silver scales glowing with ancient power. My holy fire merged with the orb's power, creating a wave that pushed back the dark magic. The Emperor's dark magic shattered, and for the first time, he looked scared. He dropped his dark orb, admitting he'd misunderstood the Dragonheart's true purpose. Just when we thought it was over, a familiar shadow emerged from the darkness. Lilith, bloodied and furious, declared the dragon heart was a weapon and she was taking it. We tensed for a fight. We wouldn't let her take the orb, no matter what. Her stolen amulet blazed with dark dragon magic. She was stronger than ever before. The orb's golden light clashed with her dark magic, shaking the palace to its core. Sebastian's full dragon form emerged, his silver scales shining like starlight. My holy fire merged with the orb, creating a wall of golden flame she couldn't break. I channeled my wind magic to strengthen the flame wall we weren't letting her pass. Lilith's eyes filled with rage, and she began to gather an even stronger dark magic blast. The Emperor watched from the sidelines, finally realizing the truth about his dark magic. The entire chamber was filled with clashing light. We were fighting for more than just the orb now. The dragon heart orb began to glow brighter, as if it was responding to our unity. Lilith was pushed back, but she swore she'd return, and next time, she'd take the orb by force. Just when we thought it was over, Lilith struck with a stolen amulet that blazed with dark dragon magic. I watched Sebastian throw up his silver runes, trying to hold back her dark magic before it swallowed us whole. Johann didn't hesitate. His gauntlets blazed with holy fire, ready to burn through her corruption. I summoned every bit of wind magic I had, sending a gust to slam her into the stone wall. The impact sent her crashing into the wall, but we knew this wasn't the end of her rage. Then Vladimir arrived, his dragon scales glowing, with the entire Morel clan at his back. The Morel clan moved in, their dark magic surging to bind Lilith before she could escape again. She struggled and snarled, but their bindings held this time. She couldn't get away. The Emperor stepped forward, his face grim, saying he'd help bring her to justice. He also promised to end the war that had torn our world apart for far too long. But that wasn't all. He pulled out a new Imperial summons, and my heart skipped a beat. The words on it made my head spin. Our special class was now official. We stared at each other, stunned we were first years, not even halfway through our semester. Then the Emperor dropped the bombshell. We were to graduate immediately, as full-fledged mages. All our fights, all our sacrifices they had led to this, but we knew danger still lurked. Patrice even smiled. His hand was fully healed, and he looked lighter than I'd ever seen him. Xander was practically bouncing, already talking about training the next generation of mages. Sebastian just nodded, but I could see the faint glint of pride in his eyes. Johann flexed his gauntlets, the holy fire still flickering faintly, ready for whatever came next. As we left the palace, I couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the beginning of our story. Vladimir watched us go, a rare look of approval on his scaled face, and as Lilith was dragged away, I saw the burning hatred in her eyes. She wouldn't forget this. We stumbled back to our dorm, exhausted, when the headmaster dropped a bombshell we never expected. The whole crew was there, still recovering from our last fight, when he made his announcement. We weren't just students anymore, we were official mages, tasked with training the next generation. We got our teaching assignments, each of us stuck with a different magic specialty. Patrice would teach healing, Xander basic fire magic, and I was stuck with wind tactics. Johann acted annoyed about teaching holy fire, but I saw the pride in his grin. Sebastian was stoic as ever, already mapping out his rune magic lessons. Patrice looked like a new person, finally proud of his healing magic. Xander rambled non-stop about palace fire magic techniques he couldn't wait to teach. I was still processing this when I felt a faint glow from my dragon blood amulet. I pulled it out and found a hidden note, another chunk of that damn prophecy. It said we were the Empire's last hope, and one of us would become the new Emperor. I stared at my friends, wondering which one of us was destined for the crown. Johann laughed like usual, totally oblivious to the target this put on our backs. Sebastian caught my stare, and I could tell he suspected something was wrong. Patrice was busy organising supplies, still the gentle soul we'd grown to trust. Xander and Johann geeked out over fire magic, unaware of the chaos coming. I clutched the note tight, my mind racing. How could one of us rule the Empire? Our dorm felt like home, but this prophecy had just flipped our world upside down. Little did we know, this was just the first rumble of a massive storm heading our way. We stared at that note in total shock. None of us wanted to be an emperor. Johann was the first to snap, his voice sharp with frustration and disbelief. I don't want to be emperor, he said firmly. I just want to be a mage. I couldn't blame him. We'd fought too hard for freedom to wear a crown. Sebastian stepped forward, his voice calm but sure. The prophecy was misread. He claimed the words weren't about a single ruler, they meant something far bigger. We were still unpacking his words when the dorm door burst open with a crash. It was the university headmaster, his face as white as a sheet of paper. He could barely get the words out, his voice shaking with raw fear. The Void Mage has been released, he gasped. He's free after centuries. A cold chill ran down my spine, we all knew that name from ancient horrors. His dark magic will destroy the university, the headmaster warned urgently. He's our special class's ancient enemy, we thought he'd stay sealed forever. I remembered the old tales, how he drained magic from every living thing he touched. And his target? The Dragon Heart Orb's power, he wants to steal it for himself. That orb was our greatest weapon against dark magic. If he gets it, we're doomed. Sebastian's jaw tightened, he was already formulating a risky plan. We had no time to prepare, we could feel the cold void magic approaching already. We were just mages, but we weren't going to let him burn our home to ash. But I had a bad feeling this was just the start of something way bigger. The headmaster stepped back, finally looking like he could breathe again. Patrice was already warming up his healing magic, we'd need every bit of it. Xander drew his sword, even royalty fights when their home's on the line. I could feel his resolve, he wasn't going to let anyone hurt our family. We were ready for whatever came next, even if it meant facing a god of void and darkness. The Void Mage unleashed his dark magic wave this time. It was personal. My windshield flared to life, struggling to hold back the void's power. Sebastian's silver runes shot out, trying to trap the void energy. Johann's holy fire blazed, burning through the void magic's corruption. Xander and Vladimir joined in, their dragon magic crashing into the fray. Our magic started to merge, something I'd never felt in all my training. The dragon heart orb appeared, glowing with golden light I'd never witnessed before. Its true power was waking up. This wasn't just a simple defense tool. Golden light wrapped around me, and dragon scales started to spread across my arm. Sebastian's true dragon form revealed itself. His scales shimmered silver in the light. Johann's gauntlets blazed brighter, his dragon scales merging with the holy fire. Xander and Vladimir's dragon power flared, matching our newfound strength. The void magic shattered before our combined power. He looked truly stunned. He stumbled back, like he couldn't process what we'd just done. "You weren't supposed to unlock its true power," he roared. "Now, I'll destroy you." The dragon heart orb flared again, its power pulsing like a living heartbeat. Our powers linked together, forming a barrier he couldn't break easily. My windshield merged with the golden light, becoming nearly unbreakable. He began to gather more void energy. This next attack would be catastrophic. We stood together, ready to face whatever devastating attack he threw at us next. Our unity magic just shattered the void mage's power. We thought the fight was over, but the old mage looked terrified, not like a conqueror. He just seemed exhausted. He said he wasn't here to destroy us, he just wanted to finally be free. Sebastian figured it out. This orb was never sealed. It waited for mages who fought for unity. I told him we were done with fighting, we just wanted to protect our home, not hurt anyone. He said he'd been trapped for centuries, all he wanted was to live without being locked away. Then, Vladimir stepped forward. He offered to find the mage a home far from the Empire. Just as tensions eased, golden light blazed from the palace. The Emperor was coming. The Emperor arrived, his face full of awe. He stared at us like we were legends. He said, we'd unlocked the orb's true power. We weren't just mages, we were legends. But his next words made my blood run cold. The Black Lands had returned, and they brought a weapon. A dark dragon heart orb pulsing with void magic. All our relief vanished. We thought we'd won, but the real fight was just starting. Dark light flickered on the horizon. The army was approaching fast. I clenched my fists, ready to summon my wind magic. We wouldn't let them destroy our home. Johann's dragon scale gauntlets flared to life. He was ready to fight no matter what. We stood together, ready to face whatever came next. But none of us knew what awaited us. Sebastian's silver rune necklace glowed brighter. He sensed something we didn't. The old mage watched us, conflicted. Would he help us, or just stand aside? The dark light grew closer. The battle for the Empire was about to begin. The Emperor tracked us down, his face white with panic. Something horrific was unfolding. He said the Black Lands built a dark magic special class. They're burning villages to ash. Innocent villagers are dying. Their dark mages are unstoppable unless we intervene. He showed us the maps, dozens of villages already in ruins. The threat was spreading fast. But he had an offer: end the war between the Empire and the Morels. Permanently, no more bloodshed. Johann was skeptical. Can we trust an emperor who spent years hunting the Morels? Sebastian said nothing, but his silver rune necklace glowed softly. He was weighing the cost. Patrice spoke first. Innocents don't care about politics. They just want to live, and we can save them. Xander nodded. He swore his father would keep his word. This was our chance to end the cycle of war. I finally spoke. We'd help, but we wouldn't kill. We only protect the innocent, no matter what. The Emperor exhaled, relieved. He agreed to our terms. The war would end if we succeeded. We left the palace, the weight of the mission on our shoulders. We had to prepare fast. Johann activated his dragon scale gauntlets. Holy fire flickered, ready to burn through dark magic. Sebastian pulled out a silver rune scroll. We'd teleport back to the dorms, no time to waste. Back in the dorms, we grabbed our gear. Scrolls, potions, weapons, everything we'd need to fight dark magic. Patrice packed his healing supplies. He knew we'd have plenty of wounded to tend to once we arrived. I summoned my wind blade, its pale blue light cutting through the warm dorm air. We were ready. We stood at the dorm door, ready to leave, but before we could step out, a shadow fell over us. It was Lilith, the moral matriarch, who tried to burn the Empire to the ground. What was she doing here? She stepped forward, no sign of the rage she'd shown before. In her hand was a silver rune scroll. Her hand extended, the scroll's runes glowing faintly. This will help you destroy the dark dragon heart orb, she said. I took the scroll, my fingers brushing hers. Why would she help us? This made no sense. The dark dragon heart orb is too powerful for your magic alone, she said. This is the only way to stop it. Before we could ask why, she vanished. 1 second she was there, the next, gone without a trace. The scroll in my hand glowed brighter, its runes pulsing with an unknown magic. What had we just been given? We stood at the university gates, the scroll clutched tight. Whatever lay ahead, we were ready, even if we didn't know what it was. We finally hit the Black Lands front lines, and the air reeks of dark magic and ash. That glowing orb in their ranks? It's the dark dragon heart core, pulsing with corrupted power. The second we arrived, they unleashed a wave of dark dragon magic. We had no time to waste. I threw up my windshield, but their magic hit like a crashing tidal wave. But we linked our powers, unlocking the true dragon heart's holy light to fight back. Johann's gauntlets flared with holy fire. He was ready to take down that core. His holy fire pierced the dark core, and we watched it start to crack apart. Vladimir unleashed his dragon magic, tearing through their weapons like they were paper. Their general screamed in rage, but we had already won this round. I spotted a crumpled note in the orb's wreckage, something about a prophecy coming true. It said our special class was meant to be the Empire's guardians. We weren't just mages anymore. We stared at each other, stunned. None of us expected this twist. And the kicker? One of us was fated to marry the Emperor's heir, uniting two worlds. Xander's face went bright red. We all knew exactly who the heir was here. The Blacklands forces retreated, but the prophecy's weight hung heavy over us all. Sebastian said nothing, but his dragon scales glowed like he already knew something we didn't. Patrice looked confused. He never signed up for royal marriage prophecies. We stood there, staring at the ruins, wondering what fate had in store for us next. Johann glanced at Xander, and I could tell he was already over all this drama. The wind picked up, rustling the note in my hand. This was just the start of our new destiny. We finally made it back to the university, bone-tired but alive, for now. The crew was right behind me, none of us ready for what came next. The headmaster was waiting, his face a mix of relief and urgency. We followed him inside, our boots clapping against the stone floors. He led us to the Great Hall, and that's when everything changed. Your special class is now a permanent part of the university, he said. We stared, stunned. We'd gone from outcasts to full-time teachers. Johann pumped his fist. He was already planning his first holy fire lesson. Even Sebastian cracked a smile. He could finally teach proper rune magic. Patrice adjusted his glasses. He was ready to share his healing magic. The next month flew by. Johann was first up, teaching holy fire to eager new mages. One kid finally managed a tiny flame. We all cheered like maniacs. Sebastian took over in the hidden chamber, teaching rune magic to the curious few. The scrolls glowed bright silver, casting weird shadows across the stone walls. My turn came next, teaching wind magic to kids who kept blowing their hats off. Let's just say we spent more time chasing hats than casting spells. Patrice taught healing magic in the sunlit classroom, gentle but firm with everyone. One girl healed a cut on her hand. She looked like she just worked a miracle. Xander didn't sit out either, teaching basic fire magic to the bravest kids. His fire burned bright. You could tell he was born to do this. When we weren't teaching, we'd gather in our dorm, laughing until dawn. Vladimir even sent us a crate of rare magical artifacts to help us train. Before we knew it, graduation day was here, our first batch of students ready to graduate. Proud doesn't even cover how we felt when they got their diplomas. We took a million photos, our magic glowing faintly in the flash of the cameras. As the party wrapped up, I wandered out into the dusk, ready to collapse. That's when I felt it crinkle in my robe pocket. I pulled out a folded note. My blood ran cold when I read the words. The Void Mage was back. He had a Void Dragon heart orb, and he planned to destroy the university at midnight. I stood frozen, the note fluttering in the wind. We'd barely caught our breath. I spun on my heel, sprinting back inside. The crew needed to know fast. My boots thundered down the halls, every second feeling like an hour. When I burst into the dorm, everyone stopped laughing. They saw the look on my face. Johann's gauntlets flared with holy fire. He was ready to fight. Sebastian's rune necklace glowed bright. He knew this was bigger than us. We gathered around the table, our faces set. We had a few hours to prepare. We spent the next few hours training, pushing our magic to the limit. Patrice brewed healing potions we'd need every drop. Xander sharpened his sword. He wasn't taking any chances. I practiced my windshield over and over, hoping it could hold against void magic. As midnight approached, we stood side by side, our magic glowing in the dark. The moon hung high, almost midnight. The air felt thick with tension. That's when we heard a low rumble from the edge of the university grounds. Sebastian's necklace, blazed void magic, was close. So close we could taste it. The void mage stepped out of the shadows, his void orb glowing with dark light. He'd come to burn it all down. His eyes were empty, no trace of humanity left. This wasn't a fight, it was a massacre waiting to happen. We raised our magic as one, our lights cutting through the dark. We weren't going down without a fight. He raised the orb, and a wave of void magic crashed toward us. This was it, our final stand. I roared, pushing my windshield to the max. We'd come too far to lose now. Our magic collided with his, a burst of light that lit up the night, and then everything went white. We sprinted to the courtyard, and there he stood, the void mage, radiating dark energy. The air reeked of void magic, and he held that cursed orb like a weapon of doom. He snarled about being exiled for eons, swearing to reduce our home to ash. There was no time to hesitate. We had to band together fast. Our magic flared to life, weaving a barrier to hold back his void wave. Johann's holy fire blazed bright, cutting through the void's darkness. Sebastian's runes glowed, channeling ancient magic to strengthen our shield. Patrice's healing magic wrapped around us, keeping us steady through the onslaught. Xander joined in, his imperial fire merging with our combined power. The void orb roared, unleashing a wave of dark energy straight for us. Our barrier held for now. The impact shook every stone in the courtyard. My windshield strained under the pressure, cracks starting to form. Johann unleashed a burst of holy fire, pushing the void magic back a step. Sebastian channeled more power, his runes flaring so bright I had to look away. The void mage snarled, realizing we wouldn't fall so easily. He stepped back, his dark aura fading like dying embers. But before he vanished, he locked eyes with me, whispering a terrible secret. He said, "The orb has a dark side. One of us would fall to the void." My blood ran cold. "The Empire will burn," he hissed, then vanished into shadows. Silence fell over the courtyard. We stood there, shaken by his words. Johann's gauntlet creaked. Was he thinking what I was thinking? Sebastian's runes flickered like he already knew something we didn't. Patrice looked pale, his healing magic fading like he felt the void's pull. Xander gripped his sword, ready to defend the Empire at any cost. The sky grew darker, and I couldn't shake the feeling his words weren't just a threat. My hand trembled, the weight of his warning pressing down on me. We locked eyes with each other, none of us daring to speak the question aloud. The void's mark lingered on the stone, a reminder of what could come. We turned to head back to the dorms, but I couldn't stop looking over my shoulder. Who would fall to the void? And when would the Empire start to burn? We made it back to the dorms, but I could feel the tension still clinging to us like smoke. Nobody spoke. We all knew what we'd faced, but no one wanted to say it out loud. Sebastian slammed his fist on the table. That void mage was lying. He's hiding something bigger. I shook my head. Maybe he was, but we can't take chances. That void magic felt too real. The room went quiet again. We all knew danger wasn't done with us yet. Johan slammed his gauntlet down. I'll keep my holy fire in check. No way it turns dark on me. Patrice adjusted his glasses, leaning forward. I can monitor everyone's magic. My healing sense can spot corruption early. I stood up, grabbing my wind staff. I'm going to patrol the campus, especially the old crypts. The hallway was dark, every shadow looking like it was hiding something. My senses were on high alert. The moon was barely visible, casting faint shadows as I made my way toward the forbidden crypts. I froze outside the crypt. I could hear something whispering, mixed with the faint hum of dark magic. A faint blue glow seeped through the cracks in the door. It was void magic, no doubt about it. I pressed my back to the stone wall, inching closer to the door to see what was inside. Peeking through the crack, I saw a figure standing in the middle of the crypt, surrounded by glowing runes. I focused in, and my blood ran cold. It was a new student, his eyes glowing with void magic. He was chanting, his hands raised as he wove a spell that made the air feel thick and heavy. A dark orb was forming in his hands, pulsing with the kind of power that could tear the campus apart. I gripped my windblade tight. I had to stop him before that spell was finished, before it was too late. The student's chant grew louder, the orb glowing brighter. I could feel the magic ready to explode at any second. Time seemed to stand still. One wrong move, and the whole campus would pay the price. I took a deep breath, ready to charge in. Whatever happened, I wouldn't let him hurt anyone else. The student's eyes rolled back, his body convulsing as the void magic took full control of him. My wind blade flared to life, the air around it whistling with the power I was about to unleash. The night was silent except for his chant. I took one last step, ready to end this before it began. I thought we were safe, until one of our own snapped, unleashing void magic that froze my blood. I didn't hesitate, my windshield shot up, absorbing the void's hungry bite before it hit others. Johan roared, his gauntlets blazing with holy fire that burned through the void's corruption. We fought back together, fire clashing with void as the air crackled with raw power. Then Patrice stepped forward, his healing magic already going to fix what was broken. His healing magic wrapped around the student, erasing the void's hold, bit by bit. Slowly, the void's glow faded from his eyes. He was back, scared and confused. He choked out that he'd been curious about void magic, and it had swallowed him whole. We didn't blame him. Curiosity had almost destroyed him. Not malice. Just as we breathed easy, the door slammed open and there stood the Emperor, face tight with fear. He didn't waste time. The Blacklands had built an army of void mages, and they were coming for us. My blood ran cold again. We'd barely stopped one void user. Now we faced an army. Johan's gauntlets flared faintly. He was ready to fight, no matter how many they sent. Patrice's magic glowed brighter too. We weren't just mages. We were a family that fought together. We stood together, magic and resolve mixing as we prepared for the fight of our lives. The Emperor looked at me, his gaze full of trust we had to protect this empire no matter what. We stepped out of the chamber, the weight of what was ahead pressing down on us, but we wouldn't back down. The student followed too. He wanted to make up for what he'd done to fight with us. The sky was dark and heavy, matching the dread in my gut, but we were ready to fight. This time, we wouldn't just survive, we'd win for everyone we cared about. The Emperor showed up, pale-faced, bad news was written all over him. Void mages from the Blacklands are tearing our border villages apart. He offered a permanent truce, uniting the Empire and the Moral Clan forever. We huddled together, silently weighing the cost of this choice. We said yes, but with rules. No killing, only protecting the innocent. Patrice stepped up, ready to heal any corrupted mages we found. Johan's holy fire flared. He was ready to burn through corruption. Sebastian said nothing, but his runes told me he was prepared for anything. I took the Emperor's summons, my fingers brushing the aged parchment. Then I saw a hidden message scrawled at the very end. It was the final piece of the prophecy, one we never expected. I held it up, and my friends crowded around, their eyes widening. The special class would unify all mage clans, and one of us would be the first mage emperor. Johan froze. He never wanted power, just to master his fire. Sebastian's runes blazed brighter. He hated the idea of being a ruler. Patrice fumbled with his glasses. He was just a healer, not a leader. We stood there, the prophecy hanging over us like a dark cloud. But we had a job to do first. The border villagers needed us. We left the palace, the prophecy burning in my pocket. What would happen next? I could feel it glowing against my leg. This wasn't just a mission anymore. We finally hit the Blacklands front. The void mages are already here, waiting. The battlefield's a wasteland. Their army stretches as far as the eye can see, oozing void magic. They unleash their void orb. The magic's corrupting everything in its path. We rally together, activating our unity orb. This is our only chance to push back. The unity magic surges out. Golden light washes over us, fighting the void corruption. Sebastian's dragon form activates. His runes burn bright, purging the void magic from the air. Johan's holy fire blazes on his gauntlets. He's targeting their void orb, ready to destroy it. The holy fire hits the orb hard. Its dark core cracks, void magic spilling out uncontrollably. I whip up a windshield, herding the corrupted mages to safety. Patrice's medics are waiting for them. Patrice's healing magic glows bright. He'll fix what the void magic broke if he can. Vladimir cuts loose with his dragon magic. He's tearing through their weapons like they're paper. Their forces break. The battlefield's littered with wreckage, the void magic fading fast. Wait, our unity orb's glowing brighter than ever. Something's happening. We all stare up. A voice echoes from the orb, deep, ancient, and impossible to ignore. The prophecy is fulfilled. It says, the special class must choose the new mage emperor. A new emperor? Us? We're just mages, not rulers. This can't be real. No one moves. We look at each other, stunned. Who would even want this job? Johann's already shaking his head. I didn't sign up to rule. I just wanted to fight. Sebastian says nothing, but his runes glow. He's hiding something, like always. The orb's light grows, wrapping around us all. This isn't over. We have a choice to make, whether we like it or not. When that voice said we had to pick an emperor, Johann and I just froze, totally stunned. Johann snapped first, yelling, I don't want to be emperor. I just want to teach fire magic. Sebastian stepped up, calm as stone. The prophecy wasn't about power. It was about unity. It hit me like a spell. That's what we fought for, standing together, not ruling over others. We walked back to the university, lighter than we'd felt in months. Finally, home. Johann dove into teaching, showing new fire mages how to wield holy fire without burning everything. Sebastian taught rune magic, his silver runes glowing softly as he showed students how to bind and protect. I taught wind tactics, showing them how to shield like a wall and strike like a gust. Patrice led healing classes, his hands glowing blue to patch up scraped and exhausted students. Days turned to weeks, and the university buzzed with magic, laughter, and new hope. But I spotted him, hidden in the crowd, the void mage, watching us like he always did. He didn't attack. Instead, he left a silver rune scroll at our feet and vanished. I knelt to pick it up, my fingers brushing the cool silver runes. What could it say? The message sent a chill down my spine. When the next threat comes, you'll be ready. We stared at each other, then laughed. Ready? We'd been ready since the day we met. We weren't emperors, we were mages, friends, the ones who fought for unity, not power. The united empire thrived, villages were safe, mages trained, hope spread everywhere. They called us legends, not for ruling, but for standing together when no one else would. But the story isn't over. The Void Mage was right, there will be more threats. But when that day comes, we'll stand together just like we always have. We're ready. Xander joined us too, teaching royal fire magic to anyone eager to learn. Vladimir visited sometimes, checking on Sebastian, his long-lost son he finally found. I watched him vanish into the shadows, wondering what next threat he was talking about. Johann and I talked that night, saying we'd never change a single crazy thing we'd been through. We gathered in our old dorm that night, laughing like we did when this whole mess started.